You're listening to Power Talks with Beth Ann and Melody Cedarstrom in the morning, where talk is real, truth is in the talk, and there is absolute power in truth. We welcome you to Power Talks this morning. I'm Beth Ann. Say good morning to my partner, Melody Cedarstrom. We're going to co-host together and empower you with the truth. At least that's our plan. Good morning, Melody.
Good morning to you, Beth. Good morning, listeners.
I was just telling her as the music was coming on and we were going on the air, that I cannot believe that it's already October the 19th.
Merry Christmas.
Didn't we just have New Year's Eve? Didn't we just have New Year's? I mean, it is crazy. And then I said, I think that's a sign of age.
No.
I think it's a sign of age.
Can't be.
Paying attention.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, gracious. It's crazy how fast this is going.
There's been so many strange things going on in our weather and so forth. And it's been we've had a very nice start to the fall and everything. But I was looking for some things on the internet, and it comes across 5,000-mile-long river in the sky to deliver heavy rain, feet of snow to the northwest. And this is from the USA Today. An atmospheric river is poised to funnel gigantic amounts of rain and snow in the next few days. As much as 15 inches of rain is forecasted in the mountains along the several coastal areas, including Portland and Seattle. It could be Seattle's wettest weather since earlier this year. But I never heard of a rain or a river in the sky. And they have shadow. They have the radar that looks like a long line. Yeah, and they said. So lots of snow and lots of rain, and I just thought that was kind of interesting. And it might be very common up in that area, but I don't think I've ever quite heard it phrased that way. So anyway, something else that caught my attention this morning. In 2014, the American Humanist Association, it's a group that believes in being good without God.
Yeah,
I don't
that works
believe
so
that.
well. Doesn't that work out real well?
Yes.
I think we're witnessing that right now.
They filed a lawsuit alleging the cross-shaped memorial, and we'll talk about that memorial, is unconstitutional and demanding it be demolished, altered, or removed. Now, this memorial recognizes veterans of World War I. And it is the American Legion, I guess, originally placed this. And it's a cross. And they allege that this cross carries an inherently religious message and creates the unmistakable appearance of honoring only Christian servicemen. And on Wednesday, the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals agreed and ruled, and I believe it is in Maryland, agreed and ruled the historic memorial must be torn down, all because the Bladensburg Memorial is in the shape of a cross. The Fourth Circuit said the memorial excessively entangles the government and religion because the cross is the core symbol of Christianity, and it breaches the wall separating church and state. Writing separately, Chief Judge Gregory wrote, "This memorial stands in witness to the valor, endurance, courage, and devotion of the 49 residents of Prince George's County, Maryland, who lost their lives in the Great War for the liberty of the world. He cannot agree that a monument so conceived and dedicated and that bears such witness violates the letter or spirit of the very Constitution those heroes died to defend."
We went through this just a short time back, and I believe it was in the state of California. And it was a bench in a park with a quote from a founding father that did mention God. And they all took offense to it, and they made them remove it. It was, the federal court does not have the authority to do this. We are so messed up in this nation, and goes back to, they can't be good without God. That's not going to happen. we're seeing that across this nation. There is no good without God.
Oh. What are they going to do? Remove all the crosses from the Arlington Memorial Cemetery?
That's probably next. Don't push it. Don't give them the idea, Melody. Come on.
It's just, and the American Legion could appeal directly to the Supreme Court. I hope they do. From some of the reading that I've done on this, they talk about the funding. They want the funding to stop, so any other organization could come along and fund it, to keep it and, the repairs on it and so forth. But, it's just these
crazy
courts. How does this one group, if they thought they could be good without God, then what difference does it matter if there's a cross representing the men that had died in World War I?
Well, and it's like if...
Why would it bother them?
I saw this poster earlier this year, maybe it was last year, where it's got a little child, and I posted it. I've got a picture of one of my grandchildren saying his prayers before his supper. And it said, if you don't believe in prayer, then why do you care if I pray? What difference does it make? If you don't have any belief, you don't think there's anything to it, then what difference does it make to you if the cross is sitting there? If it's nothing to you, what difference does it make? Because they have a religion to promote. That's what it is. And there is a bit of guilt there because I think they know deep down inside there is a God, a God, and they are so wrapped up in themselves that they believe that they can be good without God.
And I agree with you. I think deep down, that somewhere in their fibers of bones, unless they're truly satanic and
except for Hillary.
Well, that's a different topic.
But she's going to be a minister now,
Oh, good grief. But I agree with you. What are they fearful of? They have to have some sort of fear that they have to remove a visual aspect of something that frightens them.
Well, I said,
and I think they do have a fear. And
the non-believers,
it's good to have a healthy fear of God, but not to destroy Him.
I said long ago that the non-believers seem to understand the power our God has more so than we do. So they want to remove Him.
Yes.
And they want to remove prayer, your connection to Him. And it's amazing to me that the non-believer seems to understand the power that the believer has, and the believer, they're still looking for their ruby slippers.
Yeah.
And we have the power all along, and it's our God.
Yes.
And it's not in us.
Yeah.
We can't be good. There's no way to be good without Him. And some of us have trouble being good with Him. While knowing Him, so
some of us.
I didn't want to bring it up, Melody, but
I also came across this. I thought it's just a little short thing. The NRA.
Yes, I saw that. I wanted to talk about that too. Go ahead.
They've launched a new insurance program for people who shoot someone. And it's, of course, stirring criticism from gun control advocates who say it could foster more violence and might give gun owners a false sense of security to shoot first and ask questions later. The NRA's insurance is called Carry Guard. What it does, it offers coverage for civil and criminal costs. So that if you happen to shoot somebody in self-defense, well, you're going to court, and this is what it covers. It covers for civil and criminal costs that are associated with shootings. A new gun control group called Guns Down is urging the two insurance companies that back the policies to drop out. Now, the NRA has launched this ad campaign to draw attention to the insurance, and, or I should say this new gun group has launched an ad campaign, Guns Down. They lost several of them, and it shows a video message from the mother of Trayvon Martin. I think everybody knows who he is. But so
he's Obama's son, right?
He's Obama's son.
All right, that wasn't nice.
It was.
It was. Well, I've seen these commercials for the Carry Guard. They have them on Fox News in the evening, and I haven't seen them for a while, but Dana Loesch is one that really pushes it. But there's other advocacy groups that are around that are helping people, and there is one here in Missouri. They're stationed here, but they're national, and it's called the Cavalry Group. And I think you've heard the commercials on mine. Now, she and I just kind of trade out. She doesn't really sponsor the show necessarily monetarily, but they are there with an attorney ready to defend ranchers, farmers, circus people, I mean, whoever it is that's in the animal industry, the horse and carriage folks in New York and across the way, when they're attacked by HSUS, ASPCA, and PETA and those animal radical groups. They're there to defend them when that happens. You have to be a member of the group. That's what pays for the attorney. But and I saw this as kind of the same thing, because you can be the guy who, like Dana Lesh says in the commercial, you can be the one who saved the day. Everybody else gets to go home, and you're there for hours and maybe days on end getting questioned, and you're now the bad guy because you had the gun. And so that's what this carry guard is about, is to protect those. I don't think they're... The NRA, they have their own safety classes and defense classes too, I think. And,
they do. And
they don't promote shoot first. So it's, again, it's people that don't understand what's going on. And there are people that will shoot first anyway. They're, if somebody's in my house, I'm going to find out who they are. But I'm not going to hesitate to take their life to save mine or someone else's. And then you're the bad guy. They used to say, well, they got to be actually in your house when you shoot them. And a lot of people used to say, drag them in. Drag them in the house. Now that's going to, if I have to shoot somebody, I'm going to be in trouble.
The part where I thought was, it's kind of sad that we actually have to carry a not a life insurance policy, but an insurance policy to protect for our decisions when we're to the point of defending ourselves in a country where it is our right to defend ourselves. And now we have to carry insurance for the legal costs that come with it in defending ourselves.
Melody, I've been saying for a long time now, and in the last two elections, but this last election, long before Donald Trump was the candidate, the Republican nominee, I mentioned to my listeners on CSC, this isn't about Democrat and Republican anymore. This is a matter of how we are governed. We have the Democrat Party that is standing on socialism, and they are fighting our basic rights, which come from who? Who is it they want to remove from the memorials? Mm-hmm. Come from God. And last evening, and I have tried to stress with my listeners and our listeners now that we need to be aware, because this is a complete changing of what we believe as far as our Constitution. And we have trusted these elected officials wrongly. We have trusted them wrongly. We see the corruption. We've known it for a long time. For years we've laughed about the lies that come out of the politicians' mouths. Oh, I guess I'm going to have a teaser, because I want to explain something that I have believed for a long time, that Judicial Watch confirmed last night when I watched Lou Dobbs, and I want to share that with the listeners today, and I'm going to be concentrating on that on CSC Talk Radio this morning, because it just really, it made a impression on me because of what I have been saying. So I said it first. You're listening to Power Talks. We're going into a break. This is Melody and Beth Ann. Your calls are welcome at 717-300-1218. That's 717-300-1218. Melody and Beth Ann will be right back.
Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net. Gold and silver is tremendously undervalued. Global demand vastly exceeds mine supply by more than 60% annually. There is little in the financial world more certain than a coming explosion in the prices of gold and silver. The U.S. dollar continues to lose value and respect as the world's reserve currency. Our nation faces challenges on many fronts, and a day doesn't pass without another economist bringing forth warnings of impending economic calamity. There has never been a better time than right now to acquire physical gold and silver. Discount Gold and Silver Trading was founded on the principles of truth and honesty. We believe in providing a quality product, quality service, and most importantly, competitive pricing. We provide all forms of precious metals, including American gold, silver, platinum, and rare investment and circulated coins. Silver bars, rounds, and 90% silver bags are on hand for the silver investor. Gold self-directed IRAs are available. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free, that's 1-800-375-4188.
Visit crosstheborder.org, C-R-O-S-S, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn. The Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the Scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a reestablished Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more, using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, C-R-O-S-S, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
Years ahead of the dominant media, FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net.
And we have returned to listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann. I'm talking so fast this morning, it's like I just can't slow down. You're listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann in the morning. I was telling you that I have been saying for a long time that the elections, the last several, have not been about Republican and Democrat. It's not just about different policies. Are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, I heard something in the background. And I didn't know if you cut me off again. Anyway, Judicial Watch, of course, they're supposed to be a group that's keeping an eye on things, and they've been suing the government or suing to see these papers. And they were talking last evening about the Russian collusion, which is not between Trump and Russia, but all the characters that are now involved. And they're the ones investigating Donald Trump. And this goes back to the Clinton and the Clinton Foundation. It goes back to them giving the uranium to Russia here in the United States. And it gets pretty, I'm going to quote a friend of mine. She always says convoluted. It is a circle, a cycle. It is a plot of the elite that think they are above us. And Chris Farrell said, and I agree with him, only I believe maybe it's farther than what we really want to believe. The U.S. is turning into a failed state. Our Constitution cannot work. Our rule of laws cannot work with an immoral people. Now, these elite that think they are above the law, They have colluded together. Mueller, Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, Rosenstein, who put Mueller in charge. I'm trying to think of some of the others. Comey. Some of the other names that I can't come up with at the top of my head here right now. They were all connected. Who was the Attorney General? What's her name? That met on the tarmac with Clinton. Oh gosh, I can't. Are you there?
Are you asking?
I'm asking you. Yes, I'm asking you. Be my. We're supposed to be partners here. What is her name? Well, anyway,
I can think of Eric Holder. But, I hope because I saw him
after Eric Holder.
I know.
But he's also involved in it. Eric Holder was involved in it. The other one that I want to say Lauren, and that's not correct.
Loretta Lynch.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then the lady that unmasked all the American people, all the names, not all of them, but how many she unmasked. And then all these are connected. All of this is connected to this Russian uranium Clinton Foundation and all the money they got in that Clinton Foundation. All of this is connected to Russia. Nothing they have found with Trump has really been connected to Russia as far as colluding against the election. The U.S. is turning into a failed state, and we have, what's the saying we have? We have all these criminals that are running this nation that we keep electing. We, the people, have to take the responsibility. We're the republic. We're the ones supposed to be in charge. We have to have somebody like Judicial Watch watching them because we're not paying attention. And they know what they're doing is wrong because they have tried and done a very good job at hiding it. Nothing that happened and it's not alone. I'm just picking on that one because it's the most recent. The Obama administration, the things that happened, the Fast and Furious, Benghazi, the IRS picking on the conservative groups, these things never went anywhere. The Attorney General did nothing. They send them to the FBI and they die. Or they send them somewhere else and it just never happens. No one ever finishes anything. I saw Carly Fiorini I can't say her name now. Fiorina, when she was running for president, when she was still in the primaries, she made the comment she was talking about Ted Cruz. She goes, yeah, he makes a lot of noise, like he's putting on a big fight, but nothing ever gets done. Have you noticed that? Not just with him, but even the ones that are making the noise, nothing ever gets done. I love Trey Gowdy, but what has gotten done? And I'm so disappointed in Jeff Sessions. I'm so disappointed. I want to believe, Melody, that he's this mild man, and inside he's a lion, and he is doing things, and he's just not going to divulge them to you yet. But I don't think that's true. I'm really concerned because he said yesterday about Rosenstein when they said, can he actually, investigate himself? That wouldn't be right. What do you think? And then he haws around. He says, well, that's going to be up to him. He's a man of integrity. He can make up his own mind. And they made the comment on Lou Dobbs last night and they loved Jeff Sessions. They're all disappointed in him. They said they believe now that he recused himself so that he could just kind of bow out of all this. So I'm wondering now if he knew some of this was going on. I mean, how deep is this deep state? And yes, I don't think we're turning into a failed state. I think we failed a long time ago. And, Jeff Sessions, and again, I'm blessed like you hoping that, we get something in there. And I get they have a big fight ahead of them. But, sometimes it's not a matter of how much they know, or maybe they just have something to hide themselves. Maybe they're connected somehow, some way. That's what I was thinking.
And they're just, they don't want to do it.
Around. Mm-hmm.
I mean, this has been going on for a while. And,
well, the man who wrote the book about Clinton Cash, it was all right there. The majority of what they're talking about now is in that book. He knew, he had evidence of it. He didn't have all the dots. But now it's coming out. And it's like, why isn't anybody doing anything? They yak about it. At least on Fox, they're yakking about it. Sean goes on and on and on about it. He was connecting the dots last night with all these different people, and I was trying to find that this morning, and I could not find that in written form. Go ahead.
You know what? I was reading an article earlier today, and it involves the same thing. And we talk, and I have the article in front of me. It just I can't.
It's buried. I do that all the time. I've got a stack of them, and
my computer man is coming today because I've just been having a lot of issues with. Can
you send him
my
over
computers? Yeah, he'd probably like to come to Missouri, but let me see. But go ahead, and then I'll bring this up. But we have the Senate that's looking. The Senate Judiciary Committee. They're seeking permission. It's like, what is this about seeking permission to interview an FBI informant who helped agents uncover a major corruption scheme by Russian nuclear officials seeking to aggressively expand their American business during the Obama administration? What is this about? May I ask? Aren't there things called subpoenas?
Mother, may I?
Mother,
come on.
And supposedly this informant possesses information about the extent of Russian efforts. And that he has been prevented.
The American people
because he signed an FBI non-disclosure agreement, and it's just like, it's like, what is going on? Why should these investigations? But I remember Ken Starr when he was doing the Clinton investigation. It's like, what has taken him so long to do what he's supposed to do? It was all photo ops half the time. It was all, and it's like, what goes on? How difficult is it to get to the bottom of things? They need you and I there.
They need a mom. They need moms over there. We need to they need a woman. No, they've got plenty of that going on. That's another, that's another issue altogether. But they aren't doing their job. And they mentioned last night, Judicial Watch, the American people have the right to ask for these papers. They have the right to ask because it's owned by the American people, the Republic. And Judicial Watch has done this, and they can't get them. Well, we can't get them to you for at least, 36 months. It's like, seriously?
Yeah, I mean, the
what
FBI,
does it take to open up the file and hand them copies? What's it take?
The FBI developed evidence as early as 2009 that an official with the Russian state-controlled Tenex nuclear company had engaged in this kickback scheme. But officials didn't even bring charges until 2014. So, so now you think, well, okay, let's get going, folks. And they ask for permission. It's just...
Mother, may I. Mother, may I. Well, it's gone beyond, I think, a failed state. We've already failed. I'm concerned that we can't bring it back. The tagline on CSC Talk Radio is "Bring America Home," and that means people coming together. We've got the people out there on the football field taking a knee and then telling us they're not doing it because they disrespect it. What do they think, we're idiots? But we don't disrespect the flag. Then stand up. Do your crazy
on your own
protest
time.
Some other time. And this guy last night on, I can't remember what show it was last night, and they were going at it. It was a female that was the commentary. It was early in the evening. And they were going at it. She had two men on there. One was a civil rights attorney, and the other one was, I don't remember what his title was. They were both black men, and both in total disagreement. The one was a conservative. The other one was fighting for whatever the NFL thinks they're fighting for. And it's all so hypocritical. But the bottom line is they don't respect this nation. And one of the things that they're upset about, and I mentioned this to you yesterday, is the 3 strikes you're out. Well, how is that racist? Because it goes for everyone. 3 strikes you're out. And that was one of their complaints, and that's why they're taking a knee. Well, they're just making it up. And now Kaepernick's, he's filed a grievance with the NFL because he thinks they've kept him from getting a job because of his protest, and he thinks he's some martyr. Well, he's not a martyr for anybody here in the U.S. He might be a martyr for Castro, but it's just, what do they call it? It's a symptom of how far away we have fallen from who we are and whose we are. Our founding fathers were not perfect men by any means, but they did understand, even the ones they said, well, they're just a bunch of deists. Well, even the ones then, they believed that the Constitution and the rule of law would only work for a moral people, and we are not a moral people any longer, and it is collapsing on us, just like the economy's going to collapse because it's in debt. We're in debt morally, and we're going to collapse as a nation. There, I said it. I'm sorry. But that's how I perceive it, and I think that the American people can bring it back, but it's going to take an awful lot of heart searching and life changing and soul searching and life changing and coming back to God. It's going to take a revival in this nation. Now, I'm not trying to have church. I'm just telling you.
I've been saying it forever. We can't turn it around unless we bring God back into the scheme of things, and and everything we see, the courts and the Fourth Circuits and everything else, or pulling down everything that is.
Even Abe Lincoln. Even they're going to go after Abe Lincoln now. It's like, seriously.
I mean, Christopher Columbus. I mean, just
good grief.
All of our, and it doesn't even. And you know what? You mentioned something about, it's about us. It's about we as a people. And the problem is anymore that has been lost to. It is all about me. It is all about I. It's what
me
I
generation.
want. What I want people to know, like Colin, it's his view, and well, you know what? I really don't care about your view, so go do your kneeling someplace else, where people care. You were paid to play a game, and if I never like to knock people's intelligence, but you're out there playing a game.
It's a game.
I mean, why would I think that your views are very important to me? Anyway.
Well, if
that's
he made
a little
point,
tacky,
he
perhaps,
has never made a point other than he promotes Castro over the United States. Yeah. So go live in Cuba. Go play football in Cuba and see how that works for you. We have a caller. Do you want to go to Joe here in Arkansas?
Absolutely.
Let's go to Joe. He always brings us back. Come on, Joe. Help us out.
Well, hey, you were talking about this business of them selling the uranium to Russia, and I just wanted to make some comments on that. And that's, I haven't particularly got anything against Russia. I mean, I kind of admire Putin. I've kind of thought he was a good guy because, he's a Russian nationalistic leader and he's out for the good of Russia, and he seems to be an obstacle to the New World Order. In fact, I heard a speech by John McCain a few weeks ago where he was quoted. He said, John McCain said that Vladimir Putin is a threat to the New World Order, and that's why John McCain is so against Russia, so against Putin. And so I've kind of thought of Putin as something of a good guy. But, I got to realistically recognize that Russia is potentially a very, very, very dangerous enemy country. And all these people involved in selling American uranium to Russia, I mean, I think that really qualifies as treason. That is directly giving material aid to a country that is potentially is not exactly an ally of the United States, potentially a very dangerous enemy country, and that really qualifies as treason. That's like I think there was a couple in the 1950s, Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, that were convicted of treason for selling American nuclear secrets to Russia, or giving American nuclear secrets, atomic energy, atomic bomb secrets to Russia, and they were executed for that. And I don't think this is really any different. And
I agree, Joe.
What I think, if the United States government was doing what it should, if the country was working like it should, if it had any, self-preservation instinct as it should, I think all these people involved in this selling this uranium to Russia, they would be charged with treason. They would have a jury trial of, ordinary Americans for treason, and it would be considered a capital crime if they were convicted, by a jury of ordinary Americans, by a jury of people from the states that voted for Trump, those kind of people. And so, I think that's what would be done if the United States, had any real patriotism and survival instincts anymore. And the fact that it's not being done, it's very dangerous for the survival of the country, like what you're talking about.
Well, I agree 100%, and I believe that these should be brought up on charges. I mean, I think it needs to be investigated, and if they find out that everything that we looks like true is true, then I think they should be brought up on charges. And to quote myself here from lately, because I've been a pretty angry woman, I think we should hang them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we should stop talking about building a wall and build a great big huge gallows in D.C., because these D.C. occupiers who have been in on this, and John McCain's name was mentioned as well, they knew about this, and they know it's treason, they know it's wrong, or they wouldn't take so many steps and pains to hide it.
And I think it could be absolutely proven that it's treason, because their loyalty is not to the United States. As an independent country, I think it could be absolutely proven that they're members of organizations, associations, and so on like that, whose purpose is to get rid of the United States as an independent country and make the United States, basically a province in a new world order, a world government. And that directly is treason to the United States. So it's like trying to get rid of the United States as an independent country and make it part of the British Empire again. Yes,
and people like Bernie Sanders, Melody, that absolutely stand there and tell us that they're socialistic, that they believe in socialism. They take an oath to the U.S. Constitution, so they lie. These the Democrats that did their little sit-in a year ago or so, against the Second Amendment, they took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States. And then they were having a sit-in for fundraiser, is actually what they were doing, against the Second Amendment. Where are people that they cannot see the hypocrisy and the treason in the things that these elected officials are doing? I don't understand why it is so difficult for us to see. I do understand why it's difficult for us to elect the right people, because we can't seem to get the right people to run. Melody, you and Joe should be running for office. I'm just telling you.
Is it possible that so many of these elected officials perhaps they're concerned because they could also fall into the guise of treason for some of the things that they've done. So it's kind of like...
I think you're absolutely right.
So
I think it is so deep.
It's so deep that they just... not everyone, but a large part of them have a connection. And, if you get to the bottom of things, well, you know what? Their name is going to come up. So, they just kind of want to delay things as long as possible. And hopefully they all know people have short memories. Americans have short memories, and they're hoping things go away.
And we are a forgiving people, unfortunately.
When it comes to treason, I don't know how.
No, but we have been very lax in prosecute. I mean, look how many times this Wiener character's got away with his perversion.
Oh, good grief.
If that isn't, and it's usually young, and we put up with that stuff. Why are we putting up with that stuff? And why are we being told that that's normal behavior? I just saw an article this morning when we were going through some of this, that this guy that's a transgender, he's being tried now for sexual assault of a child. It isn't normal. I'm just going to say it. It's not normal behavior. It is a mental illness. And you sure don't want to have them as babysitters. I'm just saying, you don't want to have them as babysitters. Joe, thank you so much you didn't really calm me down, but thank you. I appreciate it, Joe.
Yeah, we need more patriotic talk like that.
Well, we do. We do need to get tougher on these elected officials. And You know, I'm going to give the number out. It's 202-224-3121. You call him and you tell Jeff Sessions he needs to get busy.
Get tough.
Get tough. We want to see the mean guy come out. So, anyway, that's the switchboard for D.C. It's 202-224-3121. I hope I said that right. Sometimes I get it mixed up. But anyway, that was something that really had disturbed me, and I you know, it's
you know, when you connect
the American people are going to have to wake up, start taking a stand.
And what do you think Russia did with? You know, I don't consider Putin a good guy. I'll have to disagree with Joe.
I think I knew what he was saying.
I do too. I don't think he was he'd want to hang around with the guy, but he's doing what he. I mean, he is ex-KGB. Yeah, he's ex-KGB and everything, and it seems that he does what needs to be done for his country, but he's also getting enriched also. You know, he's becoming very wealthy in his position and so forth. So, it really isn't, it is what it is. My question is, who did Russia sell that uranium to? Did it find its way to North Korea? Did it find its way to Iran? Or both. And, there's been discussions that Russia is increasing, their nuclear power capabilities and so forth. And so, a lot of questions that they really need to get answered. And people need to be held accountable for their actions. I don't care who it is.
The elected officials are not above the law.
No.
They are not above the law. And we need to, we absolutely have got to start holding them accountable as elected officials from the local level. I mean, we've got some corruption going on here on the local level. We've got to start standing up for what's right across the board. And things aren't going to turn around until we start turning them around and electing people that are actually men and women of God, that are going to take the right stand. I hear the music. We're going into a break. Your calls are welcome at 717-300-1218. That's 717-300-1218. And Melody and Beth Ann, we'll be right back.
Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net. Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free, 1-800-375-4188. The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on Internet or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the Internet. Then, when you subscribe, we will send you the last quarterly MP3 CD of that program immediately, and continue to do so with each new quarter. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. we're asking you to give much less than a tithe, so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening. Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net.
And we have returned. You're listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann in the morning, and we're in the final segment. It's the fastest hour of the day. Well, except for the hour prior to when we're all trying to get ready. We had that discussion this morning. But it is the fastest hour of the day, except for the next hour. That's also the fastest hour. What else we got here, Melody?
Well, before we get on to what's happening with the U.S. Navy's the warships in Asia, and a little bit of tax talk and pension funds, 54188, and we have a $560 package. It's the 1/10 ounce American Gold Eagle, along with 20 1-ounce American Silver Eagles. This includes your shipping costs for $560. So 1/10 ounce American Gold Eagle, 20 1-ounce Silver Eagles. The Silver Eagles are 2017s, and it includes your shipping costs for $560. So give Carla a call right now, 1-800-375-4188. And if you'd like to visit our website, go to dgscoins.com, dgscoins.com. Make sure you sign up for our weekly newsletter. It comes out on Mondays. Well, right now, Beth, we have 5,000 sailors, and I believe it is the Reagan, the USS Reagan battleship. It's conducting drills with the South Korean Navy. It involves 40 warships deployed in a line stretching from the Yellow Sea west of the peninsula into the Sea of Japan. There's 5,000 sailors launching almost 90 F-18 Super Hornet sorties from its deck inside of South Korean islands. The dangerous and aggressive behavior by North Korea concerns everyone. Rear Admiral Mark Dalton, commander of the Reagan Strike Group, said in the carrier's hangar as warplanes taxied on the flight deck. He says, "We made it clear with this exercise and many others that we are ready to defend the Republic of Korea." And I told Beth during the break, I think I have a little bit of a problem with that. Why are we defending the Republic of Korea? And
why do we call them a republic and we call ourselves a democracy?
Exactly.
And that's interesting.
So it's just the way I see it. You know, if South Korea was attacked first, and, you know, with NATO and all that, and we had to go support with their allies, you know, but why should we be there to defend? But, of course, South Korea has lots and lots of multinational corporations who need our help militarily to defend them from North Korea. And that's got to be quite a sight, those warships lined up like that. Oh, my gosh, I saw pictures and it actually gave me goosebumps. So not sure it'll make any of, not sure it'll affect North Korea's rhetoric as far as it comes to the United States. But, President Donald Trump's first official visit to Asia, set to start in Japan, begins on November 5th, with South Korea to follow. Now, there was also a comment that's saying that they have not ruled out the eventual possibility of direct talks with the North. I also heard that, perhaps they're trying to talk Donald Trump from going to this area at this particular time, which would probably be a smart idea. But a Russian who returned from a visit to Pyongyang has said the regime is preparing to test a missile it believes can reach the U.S. West Coast. And so they're continuing, both the President and Secretary of State Rex Tillerson is continuing with the diplomatic efforts to diffuse the tension with North Korea. But
are they playing a little good cop, bad cop thing going on?
Perhaps.
We don't want to see war. We can't continue to let North Korea do what they've been doing. But we certainly don't want to see war. And I could see where, I didn't see the pictures, but I could see where that would put goosebumps on you. It'd be, make your hair stand up for two different reasons. Because you see war and the pride of what we are. I mean, as far as having the power that we have, our military men that are there, and it's scary times. It really is scary times. We don't want to see war. I don't know how else to put that. We do not want to see war. And we see a type of war going on within our own nation here with the divisions that we have, divisiveness. And I see the liberal side as being so divisive. You know, I never hear any of them talk about coming together with any kind of a common denominator. If we were all for liberty, we should be able to find a common denominator somewhere, somehow, some way. But I don't even hear anybody talking about that on the left side. I do hear that on the right, but I still hear a lot of division and such on the right. You know, it may surprise you, but raising 5 sons, there was a lot of fighting going on in the house. And you had to take the bull by the horn, so to speak, or the bulls by the horn, and make them come to some kind of a common. You know, it's. I know you can't treat a nation, I guess, like a bunch of kids, but that's how we're acting.
We can? Know. Isn't that what we already have? And isn't that what they are?
Mine. It's like,
but again, it goes back to they don't have. Again, you know, they don't have, you know, our republic in their hearts. They have
liberalism is selfishness.
Yeah.
Socialism is selfishness and laziness.
Very lazy.
Because they want somebody else to
given.
take care of them and everything given to them. They don't want to work for it. And the equality, they speak of equality, but there's no equality. If these men on the football field really wanted equality and wanted to make life better for, as they would put it, the blacks, then do it. Because right now, you have that opportunity. You're making $2 million a year on an average. Do it. Grasp this opportunity and do it. But they don't.
And really, what message are they giving to the, you know, the inner cities and to what kind of role models are they? Going against standing for the national anthem. What kind of role model is that? So, well, you know, they're kind of, again, they're playing a game, and they've been lucky enough to get paid well for it. But, you know, I don't think they've really thought through much of, you know, the,
when you're young,
they're actually doing. They're just doing it to do it.
When you're young, you think you're invincible, and you think that strength is going to last forever. But you see the commercials with the emu oil and the athletes that have grown older and retired. Johnny Bench is the cutest thing doing those commercials. Well, I feel so good, I think I could get back into it. And he sees this catcher take the splits as he catches, go, well, maybe not. It's not going to last forever. So they need to make the most of what they're getting. I mean, that's on an average $2 million a year. And of course, then they were talking about this one, and I don't remember which owner it was, that sold his stadium. A stadium that has tax dollars in it. He sells the stadium and gets the profit. Something's wrong with this picture. And the American people are being fooled and being fools. You know, so I think that the American people are getting sick and tired of being taken advantage of. You know, we mentioned the $4,000 tax raise that we're supposed to get, you know, and I'm insulted by it. I know it's a pretty good deal. If I was working a job and they gave me a $4,000 raise, I'd be pretty happy with it. But this is our money in the first place. And here we have these them too, but the football players, and now starting out with the basketball players, taking a knee. They don't have any problem taking the tax dollars, but they take a knee. And it's time for the American people to wake up and see that we're the ones that ought to be taking a knee and not to the national anthem. But we need to get down on our knees and pray to God forgiveness for what we have failed to do as a nation. Anyway.
I didn't get a chance to talk about taxes or the state pensions that are falling behind, but
well, you can do that
another
tomorrow.
Another day,
another day, another dollarless day. Thank you, Melody.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, listeners, for being with us today, and we'll be back tomorrow.
Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn. The Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the Scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a re-established Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today, so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy Reality News app. Get it now.
Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free 1-800-375-4188.